Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello people and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. Welcome to another day of like good football talk, of course. If you know, you know. Liverpool smashing, oh my God, Leverkusen. The one they got is better than the one they wanted. That is the talk in town for Liverpool, of course. Arne Slot schooled Xabi Alonso, to be honest, by 4. Luis Diaz with a hat-trick. Mohamed Salah is arguably the best player in the world at the current moment with the form that is Mbappe in and Vinny Jr. in, of course. There is nobody better than him, people. Man City smashed. Ruben Amorim showing levels against Pep Guardiola, which is a lot of Man United fans are gassed about it. They think he's coming in with the Sporting Lisbon. They think they're going to play in the same stadium. That's the talk around town, of course. But listen, Ruben Amorim, absolutely fantastic yesterday. Humble, though, after the game. Very, very humble after the game. I'm already like in love with the guy, the way he talks in press conferences. Like him and Arne Slot, like they're like kind of similar. And we'll talk about that as well, because some people are just smart in press conferences, bro. Some people are just calm and smart in press conferences. Arsenal and Inter today. Of course, we'll talk about that. Inter are absolutely resting all the players. They're absolutely taking it easy on Arsenal.
Don't do this. Let's not make... No. Let's not do this.
Let's not do this. Show.
I don't care. This is Footy Judge. I am holding this guy to the fire. He's been talking so much spice for almost a year.
100%. We'll talk about the game. But listen, people, it's about 200 people. We just started the show. 200 people here. So hit that like button, people. If you're here, let's get the likes up to 200, 300. Vote in the poll, people, please. We need the likes up to hold the channel. The like button is underneath the live chat. Let's get to 200 likes right off the bat. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Martin is on the way. He just got held up in traffic, so he's on the way coming back now. But let's start with Liverpool. And I know Mac is so different than all the Liverpool people in terms of the chest and how the team plays and Arne Slot. The talk yesterday was about you cannot be the best team in the world at the current. How's everyone doing first? Let's just start by this. How's everyone? Morning for me, a little bit later for Temi, of course. Olo and Mac is the afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, good.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Can't complain. I can't complain. I'm excited for this, man. I'm excited to talk ball.
For the elections? No, you're excited for the ball. Okay,
ball, man. I'm here to talk sport, not politics.
We can do politics. I mean, either way.
I'm not shy of talking about politics, to be honest.
Politics.
I don't care, bro.
I'm here to run away from politics. You feel
bro, yesterday I was about to go live. I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, in the evening, I'm like, I'm bored. Maybe I'll go live and talk about the elections and do the polls and, like all this stuff. It was fun, though. It was fun. But I went to bed, and because I couldn't just stay up when they were counting the states, the last two states. So at the end,
I thought it was going to take up to Friday, and literally woke up this morning. I was like, oh well, it's done.
It was very obvious, bro. Like if people that don't know the elections, it was very obvious. Once he won Florida, bro, you knew the way he won. He won the elections. I knew. And Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, it's done. For the people that don't know the elections in America, it's weird. It's electoral votes and stuff like this. Don't worry about it. No, I don't want to.
One thing. I was going to say, guys, so for people that don't understand, Kamala Davis was basically Tottenham.
She bottled it. But anyway, I don't care, to be honest.
Against that league when Arsenal and Tottenham were like in the top four, out of the top four. You mean that one?
Hey. There's no start from the back foot, okay? There's no start from the bad foot.
But you know what? And people in the chat hit that like button. You know what? The meltdown in foreign countries is crazy in comparison to the meltdown in America. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of people, the meltdown because Trump won, or the meltdown because Kamala was winning this. I'm like, it doesn't affect your life as much. Your country's crap because it's crap. America's crap because it's crap. It has nothing to do. We have been crap for a while. Inflation is happening. Like people, I know that a lot of people talking about the Middle East, and I'm Arab, you know what I mean? It's not gonna affect me as much, and it's not gonna affect the Arabs as much. Like this, but that's the whole thing that people don't understand. Anyway, it is what it is. Listen, it is what it is. It's elections. It's gonna be 4 years, and then it's gonna flip again, and then it flip again, and then it flip again, and that's all about it. To be honest, not as hard. Listen, going back to Liverpool, hit that like button, people. Mac, Liverpool, talk to me about the game. A lot of people want to show Liverpool chest. At least now we can say that Liverpool have started the season very well, and they have. And I asked this question yesterday. Have better chance than Arsenal of winning the league now. At least that. I'm not saying Man City, at least this.
I think, I mean, I spoke about this for quite a while. I think our fans maybe need to start understanding that Liverpool aren't the Liverpool of old, and we're allowed to be 0-0 in games. Like you are allowed to get to half time and it be 0-0. It doesn't need to be 1-0, 2-0. Like, the game doesn't need to be over. The game doesn't need to be like a cricket score. Like, you are allowed to control games and you're allowed to dominate. And I think our fans need to kind of understand as well that the guy we've got now is a cross between Klopp and Pep. And the intensity's still there. The fire's still there. The fight's still there. The pressing's still there. Maybe he hasn't got the personality. Maybe he doesn't run around trying to ramp up the crowd. He's not fighting with referees. He's not that type of character. But what he has got as well, as he's got the elements of Pep, where he will just run the legs off teams. He will just make a substitution that just completely bamboozles teams. He will make spaces in the middle of the park. Like, just look at Leverkusen yesterday. Like, that was a tight game. They're a really good team. Like, I think they've been beaten 3 times in like a year and a half, and nobody scored 4 goals past them since 2022. Like, they've got the manager that we wanted. Like, they got the manager that we picked, that we went for, as in Liverpool did. And that was a big game for Slot. That was a big game. I think that was one of his biggest opponents. Like, I know Arsenal are Arsenal, but I do think Leverkusen was definitely one of his biggest opponents this year because of all of the hype around it, the fact that it was Alonso coming back to Anfield, and they got a number of great players, and he schooled them. Like, that could have been 10. Like, seriously. Like,
I thought they looked mediocre. No,
they were still in the game. Like, they were still in the game.
No, but what I mean is, like, they didn't look like a champions of England, a team like the Invincibles of last season in the league. They didn't look like that at all. And that's Arne Slot, like, in a nutshell. They can have the possession, you know what I mean? But then at the end, he knows where the goals are coming from. Like, and yesterday I was watching the game, and I was watching both games, Man City and Liverpool. Every time when I'm focused on the Liverpool game, and I'm like, these players know exactly where to hurt Leverkusen. And it was very obvious. Because that cross behind the back line, it happened like 6-7 times. Like, that cross. Yes, exactly. It happened 6-7 times. And I'm like, you know exactly where to hurt this team. Listen, Liverpool are different this season. Luis Diaz, when he's back to his best, I think it's crazy how someone can be like bad last season, sell the guy to someone who is scoring goals and performing well every time he steps on the pitch. And we have to speak about Liverpool now being...
Do you know what's crazy about Luis Diaz? Like, that's the first time Luis Diaz and Mo Salah have been together, like, next to each other. Like, every time they played under Klopp, they were split. So you've got Luis Diaz on one side, Salah on the other. Like, that's a stroke of genius. He may well have uncovered probably one of the best partnerships this season. Like, that could actually be one of the best partnerships this season. If that now comes to fruition and he decides, you know what, Núñez can maybe come off the bench. Like, he's not scoring goals. Like, and that's his job basically. And Luis Diaz, I mean, him and Salah together, it's definitely something we've never talked about. And that could really be an incredible partnership now moving forward, because Diaz has got 10 goals in 16 games. I think he scored 16 goals under Klopp in total. And he's already got 10 in 16 under Slot. And I think Mo's on 18 GA now, or 19 GA this season. Like, these are mental numbers. Like, they just are. Like,
Olo, you're looking at tell me, Olo, you're looking at this Liverpool team and you think they can win the Premier League. The Champions League is just moments. You know what I mean? The Champions League is just moments. We know that Liverpool, it all depends on the luck, the draw, and all the stuff. They are one of the best teams in the Champions League. They're a cup team.
So the only thing about Liverpool winning the league this season, the only thing that I think could be a problem is the contracts and Manchester City's charges. I think that's going to be a soap opera that's going to get involved in a lot of stuff, and I'm kind of dreading it. And it looks like all the other things are kind of sorted. Like, the club's kind of in a good position now. All the coaches are all settled in. The players are starting to understand what Slot wants and how to play with him. He's starting to kind of understand the teams that he needs to play against, like low blocks, and giving teams possession like he did with Chelsea and Arsenal, and how to dominate games more. So I think it's going to be the contracts, maybe signing 1 or 2 players, and the charges, the 115, like that. I
don't think the charges will affect the. Go ahead, Ola.
I think it might just affect everything, just the whole soap opera with it. So I don't want that to overshadow stuff. Sorry.
So Norris. So to your question, can they win it? Yes. Will they win it? That is going to be the $1 million question that needs to be answered, right?
Are they the main contenders with City at the current moment?
Well, if you're first and you've got considerable like lead against the other team who was meant to be the challengers, then you have to say, yes, they are currently in the position of being the main challengers, right? Now, one thing I've always said, and Mo, you've probably heard me say a million times, there's something about Anfield. Anfield is mythical. Like, teams go there and they get drowned by the noise, and so it's not surprising to see Leverkusen go from being in the game to absolutely, Liverpool playing to the cup and drowning in that situation, right? I think where we've seen Liverpool this year, where there might be chinks in their armor, is being away from home. So you think about the game at the Emirates, right? Like, it was the first half Arsenal were better. Second half Liverpool grew into the game. Right. You look at Ipswich at the start of the season. Again, it was a closer game than it should have been. I think the test for this Liverpool team will be when they go away to some of those grounds. So, a lot of the wins, such as at Chelsea against Chelsea. So the win against Chelsea was at Anfield, right? Let's seeing the reverse fixture in Stamford Bridge will be interesting to see, right? Going to the Etihad, that'll be interesting to see. That's where you see the real mettle of this Liverpool team, and because. To be honest,
I hate this notion. We still have to wait and see this Liverpool.
No.
This notion is gonna.
It's not waiting and seeing if this Liverpool team are good. It's about actually can they handle playing away from home with this new manager. Right? We've seen what Klopp has done, right? So,
what makes you doubt them then? What makes you doubt that?
We've won 6 on the trot away from home. Like he's already broken a record. He's already broken a record at Liverpool for winning the most away games as any other manager.
Why I mean though is why I meant by that is the bigger stadiums, the more tougher grounds.
Yeah.
That's the ones that I want to see.
That's not what wins you the league.
What do you mean? They went to the Emirates and got a draw.
What is that?
They went to the Emirates and got a draw.
No,
they beat AC Milan in the San Siro by like 3-1. Like
when they went to the Emirates, did you think that Liverpool were the best team in the league? By the way they played.
In the first half, you dominated them and you rattled them, but that's you as well.
Forget first half, second half. I'm just saying, by the end of the game, did you feel they were the best team in the league? Because what I'm saying, I guess what I'm trying to say is that what we tend to do is we tend to form opinions off one game, right? And what I'm trying to say is that actually we're going to need the time.
See, you don't. So put your statement out. You don't think Liverpool are the best team in the league now?
No, right. I said currently they are the first in the league. The table tells you the best.
What makes you doubt them?
Because
give me something to tell me. Yes, Mo, we should doubt Liverpool.
No doubt. So here's my thing, right? And again, I could be clutching at straws, but I feel like
but fine.
That's fine. It's fine for you to have the opinion. You're a fraud, so we know that already.
Right.
I feel like this Liverpool team is still has the DNA of Klopp. So that's why when we mentioned the hard running, right? That is Klopp's DNA. So now. It's slot that way of a manager. I've never watched Feyenoord that deeply to know how he played football. So I'm not going to pretend to know if this is what he wants or if it's just the players continuing what they've always known, because old habits die hard. Does he want to play a slower game? Is he happy being rock and roll football, etc., etc.? So that's where my sort of, all right, let's take some time to see how this Liverpool team pans out over a longer period of time. But right now, definitely the best team in the league. Definitely deserving of being in the first.
Of course, we have to wait. There's nobody. Tell me, what do you say about this? We have to wait, of course. Well, Liverpool can crumble. Anybody can crumble. Anybody can crumble. Like Chelsea can crumble. You know what I mean? Arsenal can crumble. You have done it twice in a row, bro.
You talked about winning the league, and I'm saying
you went there, man.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
That's fine. I don't really care. I've been hurt.
No, but seriously, okay. You know what?
Wait.
Hold on. No. Hold on. No.
It's in relation to your question. It's in relation to your question about winning the league. That's why I'm saying extrapolating over time. If you're talking about just right now, I can't make that argument. But if you're talking about winning the league, then I'm going to have to give the arguments I'm talking about in terms of winning the league over 38 games, which is where my thoughts come into play.
I'm not saying they are favorites, but I'm going to let Timmy talk. But for me, to be honest, again, I'm going to say this. I have no evidence or no substance to clutch to say, I'm going to doubt Liverpool. Okay, like I want someone to give me a reasonable thing apart from it's a new manager, it's this. They have every single thing apart from the depth.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
However, but look at Man City, Arsenal, and also Liverpool. If they go until January, they might buy one. And until this current moment, the way that Curtis Jones has played, the way that Gakpo has played, the depth is there. I'm going to tell you one thing. The way Gomez has played, the way Tsimikas has played, the way Kelleher has, that's all depth. The only position that people are doubting is the DM, right? There is Curtis Jones. But that can be maybe solved within, same as City. So City lost Rodri, the most important guy. Okay, can I say they don't have depth? Yes, they don't. Because at the current moment, we're seeing it in front of our eyes. It is happening without Rodri. That's my point.
The depth is actually providing for us this season. And there's another player as well, which I'd be quite excited to see, who hasn't been given as much as a chance this season, but when he has, he still looked good. You've got Endo. Like look at Endo. Look at Endo in games. Endo came on and he came on against Arsenal and Started doing the shit hours of me.
Let me hear Timmy, and then I will do the couple of super chats that arrived because they are related. Timmy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say in relation to your question, Liverpool are definitely the incumbent favorites to take over Man City. I think out of all the teams that have played this season, they have been the best coached, comfortably, in my opinion. Arne Slot only made one signing this summer in Chiesa, and he's a squad player right now. He's not getting consistent game time, and they've managed to improve, right? So they're definitely the favorites in terms of best coach team, probably the best player in the league on their team, which is always huge to have. Mo Salah has been playing at a unreal level this season. You can't argue that. So the only thing I'm questioning really is they haven't really gone through like real adversity. And what I mean by that, they haven't gone on a run of bad games, which is going to happen. Like that is going to happen at some point in the season. It's like, how do you stop the bleeding when it does happen? Like how quickly can you stop the bleeding? So that's the only thing we haven't seen yet is like, maybe Premier League teams haven't 100% adapted to this new way that Liverpool play, because it is different. It is different. It's a bit slower. I quite like it. I quite like it. It's much more methodical than Klopp's system. You feel me? So that's the only thing is like, there's going to be a moment where they lose 2 games on the trot and maybe have a draw as well. And it's like, okay, how do you bounce back from that? Which is we haven't seen.
He bounced back from this first loss. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm saying like singular losses are going to happen. I'm talking about like a consistent run of they're 2, 3, maybe 3 games without a win, maybe even 4. Like that's possible to have. Like that, the chances of that happening are high to me. They've done pretty well not to have too many injuries as well. So that's another thing. Like if they lose a top player, that's going to obviously change things. Yes, the depth has looked good this season, but if you lose one of those top players, like if you lose, Diaz right now, or if you lose,
even Salah,
Salah, whatever the case may be, like it's a completely different outlook. Yeah. So yeah, on paper, they look way better than Arsenal. I'll be real. They look much, much better. Like I think they're with the coach they have, in my opinion, they have a better coach than Arsenal have, right? They just are much, much better coach than Arsenal. So if they can just sustain, he is. He's a better coach.
The reason why I don't do that. Sorry, the reason why I'm doing that is because again, I don't like snap judgments. I like to see over a period of time to be able to make a decision like that. So I would never. I can't say honestly because I'll tell you why. Ten Hag is a great example. When he first came, everyone said how great a tactician he is, how great a coach he was, right? And 2 years later on, we've seen the reverse of that. So that's why I'm not going to make a snap judgment. How good a man.
No, good argument. Very good argument, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's a little different because of the scope of what of what Slot did at Feyenoord. It's a much more difficult job than Ajax, right? I wasn't one who was like, oh yeah, Ten Hag wasn't my first choice at the time. I still thought he was a good coach, but I hear what you're saying. I just think it's very obvious, like the degree of difficulty of what Slot's doing in comparison to Arteta, who's had how many? Like 800 million spent
or whatever seasons? Sorry,
five seasons, 800 million spent versus one signing in the summer, and he's outperforming everybody. Like that's not easy to do.
The problem I've got with those 2 managers you just mentioned, and someone wrote it in the chat, and fair play to you, is they both abandoned their tactics. Like Arteta was supposed to be a generation from Pep. He was supposed to be the guy who was going to challenge Pep and play this amazing football that he's learned under him. He's turning into a Jose Mourinho. He's turning into Jose Mourinho football. It's horrible to watch. Yeah, and then you got Ten Hag, who played unbelievable football at Ajax, and he just got rid of it all and started playing long ball and passed the ball to Rashford and see what he can do.
I actually think you are doing an insult to Mourinho when you're comparing Arteta's way of playing football now to Mourinho. I'm being serious, but
think about like
Mourinho has this
older school. I don't mean that.
But Mourinho was a very effective coach. Not prime Mourinho. Yeah, 100% not prime
we all
Mourinho.
accept
Park the
Jose
bus,
Mourinho's. Yeah, I get what he's saying. I get what he
I
just.
wasn't
like-
digging at you
I
then, though.
got it.
Okay, Mourinho's a great manager, all right? Mate?
Yeah, but
I wasn't digging at you.
I do think that Slot is a very, very, very good man. Like, it's not. I thought to be fair, I thought Liverpool were gonna have a bad season. Like, just off the fact of, you know, losing Jurgen Klopp, who's been the most
Same
central,
here.
you know, who was the most central figure at the club over, you know, what, 30 years, right? And then not making signings on top of that. Like, they didn't have a good, like, on paper, they didn't have a good transfer window. So I'm looking
But let's look at the team. Let's look at the team he inherited as well. You've got Alisson, who people say the best goalkeeper in the world. Van Dijk, who people still consider the best defender in the world. You got Mo Salah, who is a game changer. You got Trent. I'm sorry, like,
those
as much as I agree. Wait. As much as I agree,
All
you
of
making
these
signings.
people would not have gotten into the Arsenal team last
No.
season
That's
if
I wouldn't have
we,
said that. I wouldn't have said that. So that's just me.
then
But-
a lot
but
of
you
people
come-
that said
well,
that. Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah,
Saka
no.
over Salah, Saliba and Gabriel over Van Dijk and this. Look
Right,
at David
all
Raya.
right.
He has been amazing. Ben White
Uh,
over Trent,
all
who
right.
cannot defend.
All right. Okay, thank you, Mo.
By the
But
way,
point-
I am being serious, although this is not me saying anything that is out of the ordinary or not said. Last season, at the end of the season, Salah is on his last legs. Van Dijk is not going to get into the Arsenal team because Gabriel and Saliba are the best partnership. Alisson, look at David Raya this season. The save percentages. He's saving Arsenal. Trent can defend. So I would take Ben White, who's more balanced right back. Do you want me to go on? Declan Rice is better than McAllister.
So
Do you want
the
me to
point
go
is
on and
still-
on? Havertz is better than
I
Diego Jota.
want to hear
Okay.
Olu's take on this.
My point is
His take is fraudulent, bro. That's why his
It's
take
not
is.
fraudulent. It's not fraudulent. But Mo's just doing this his fake judge routine. The point I was trying to make is this: the difficulty of the job he stepped into, right, was from a team which has got recognized superstars. If he had picked up a team which was absolutely in tatters and then he turned them into this, I could totally understand what you mean in terms of his coaching ability. What we're seeing right now is essentially he's walked into a team which, yes, he needed refining. They should have backed him in the summer with more players. However, we cannot turn around and just say, actually, this team was down in the dumps, because also he still finished third and he was in the title race till what? Game 32, 33. So there is a good team in that, right? And reality was that Klopp had run out of juice. So maybe that is what also impacted him last season. But again, and this is what I'm saying, let's not make snap judgments. What will be amazing to see will be how he builds his next team, because that's where we'll know how good a job he's going to do. Because if we compare it with Arteta, I hate doing comparison with Arteta because it becomes like it's an Arsenal-centric thing. But if you compare Arteta and the team he inherited and had to rebuild, like I would say not many people have done a job as good as what he had to do. Now, granted, he's not been able to win. That is a totally
Can I
different
ask a
argument.
simple question? End of last season, beginning of the season, you are a coach. Which team are you choosing to coach? Olo.
Sorry, what?
End of last season, before a ball was kicked this season, you are a coach, and I'm giving you two teams, Arsenal, Liverpool. Which team are you choosing to coach?
Listen, no doubt, I'm going to take Arsenal.
That's
But
what
I just-
everyone says.
So you just
I
kind of
agree.
like undid your points there.
No,
like I
but
think
what-
that's the so real quick, like
Mhm.
the yes, they have superstars, obviously, but I think the narrative heading into this season was, and correct me, my Liverpool brother, forgive me. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I think the narrative going into the season was, you know, Mo Salah's contract is running out, Trent's contract is running out, Van Dijk is getting older. Yes, he's still good, but is he the same Virgil van Dijk? Questions in midfield. How are, you know, there's no recognizable DM. You know, that was a big question mark going into the season. You didn't make signings. So there's like the degree of difficulty on the job was very, very high. And again, you can say, yeah, Jurgen Klopp lost juice, but he is by far, he's one of the best. He's, in my opinion, the second best manager in world football right now. So losing that and then hiring a manager that wasn't their first choice, mind you, like this wasn't their first choice. Xabi Alonso was, I think there was interest.
Yeah.
Ruben Amorim,
Who
Manchester United just got, was of interest. So like, there's a lot of things that were going against him. You feel me? And he still managed to exceed. I think he's by far exceeded expectations. They're top of the table in the Champions League. They're top of the table in the Premier League. I don't think anyone would have predicted that heading into the season. So I don't think it's a snap. It's not a snap judgment. It's just like an assessment of what people were saying heading into the season and what's actually happening in real time. Like they're playing great football.
I said this on Grizz's show last night. and this is why I think Klopp needs a lot of credit, and I also think Slot needs a lot of credit. And Klopp needs a lot of credit because what Klopp left behind was he left the foundations. So he left a brilliant youth team. He left a brilliant ethos in the club. He left a bunch of players, no dickheads at Liverpool, none, zero. The dressing room was solid and 100% behind whoever was going to come in. And that was brilliant for the next manager to come in. But the jump from Feyenoord to Liverpool is from earth to the moon. Like, it just is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and Ten Hag's from Ajax to Manchester United is exactly the same. And I don't think people realize how big that jump is. And for him to come in with no coaching staff at all, with a brand new director of football, everything's completely brand new. And he's had to replace the whole lot, as in Richard Hughes and Edwards. And for him to bring those coaches from those leagues and other leagues as well into Liverpool, and to get all of that working without any players from the first team for your pre-season. Remember, none of them had a pre-season. Like, they never went to America, none of the first team, because they'd all done the internationals. So they'd done the Copa America, they'd done the Euros, like none of them were there. And to hit the ground running like we have, like, we've scored 36 goals and conceded 10. And the XG against and the XG for is higher than any other league in Europe, both ways, forward and backwards. And to just get that in place and to get that working in such a short amount of time is pretty scary, if I'm honest. Like, it is pretty scary.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Can I let me before we go on, let me do a couple of super chat before we get in Martin in here.
I just want to clarify something.
Can I just finish this, please? Just German Chicken Wing, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Eddie here is saying Rafinha and Yamal have been better than Salah. I disagree. I watched some Barcelona games. I disagree with you that Lamine Yamal and Rafinha have been better than Salah. I think Salah has been better. Numbers wise, he has been better. So I disagree with you.
Yamal's been fantastic, by the way.
Has been good.
Rafinha and Yamal have been fantastic.
Do you know what this is? This is what happens when people just try to bring down players. Like, logically, I mean, you can't look at what Salah's done this season and just go, "Oh, Rafinha and Yamal." It's like the popular names to say, basically. I mean,
no, but they have been good. They have been very good. They have been good.
They're playing ridiculous, bro. They're playing.
But you can't look at Salah and you just say, "Oh, this guy's been better than him," because what he's been doing this season has been fantastic. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Hit the like. Listen to Luke Skywalker, guys. Hit the like button. We got almost 600 people here, and we are not even in 200 likes. The target is to get 400 likes live, guys. So the like button is underneath. So live chat. So thank you so much, Luke. Guys, hit that like button. Listen to Luke. Liverpool's defensive depth is the only question. Can you answer that, Mac?
I mean, Joe Gomez, like, he's our defensive depth. Like, he can play
and
right
there's Conor
back.
Bradley and Tsimikas, so I don't understand.
Yeah, the Robbo Tsimikas one's always been an issue for me. Like, I said this on the show last time with you. Like, I think our biggest priority isn't a defensive midfielder. It was a left back. And it's already showed by some of the bozo moments Robbo's had trying to play people offside, like Saka. You know, I think that's been a bit of an issue, but Tsimikas has looked good since he's come in, and you know, you've got to thank Slot for that as well, like, because Tsimikas was nowhere near the team under Klopp. Like,
yeah, 100%. Let me bring in Martin and ask her. Looking at the team now and Liverpool and Arsenal, which team you think can go all the way to the end?
Right now, Liverpool.
Liverpool and more.
You know me, I said it was 3-horse race, and I got laughed at. Said it was 3-horse race. Said someone will drop out in April. Might be us yet. We might be out. We might be out before April. You never know. We might be out next week. No, but yeah, it's 3-horse race. But of course, and this is no disrespect to Arsenal. Before we all get everyone comes shouting and bawling. It's just the way I see it. I think Liverpool, I'm a little bit opposite. I don't think they are seeing any remnants of Klopp right now. I think it's very different. The biggest thing is, I've said it before, you don't hear them talking about Klopp. You don't hear them muttering about Klopp. So as though he's never been there. It's mad. They've just strolled into it. You know, me and Osam have had this debate. I'm amazed that he won't say the favourites. Because they are at the minute. They are the favourites.
You think Liverpool are favourites to win the league now?
Yeah.
It's City with all the adversity. You have your 2 points behind them.
It is what it is. It is what it is. What we need to do is, when we'll get onto the City part when we get onto it. So I know what you're doing there.
Which is now.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly where you were going to go with it. I knew what you were doing.
Now.
Go on.
No, but listen, like looking at City now, a lot. I've seen.
I ain't running. I ain't running.
No,
nowhere.
I've seen the meltdown is crazy actually on the internet from the City
generally
fans.
against me. Generally against
no.
me.
The City fans are a lot of them are saying if we don't buy someone in January, we're finished, we're done. It might be over. Pep cannot hack it. Pep cannot fix it.
No, I'm bored of this narrative and just pull out the checkbook.
No way. When City went down 2-0 against Bournemouth, I just sat there and thought, oh no, they're going to make them mad now, and they're going to come back and score 3. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think that year, when he got rid of a lot of those older players, I think that's kind of derailed a little bit of the City mentality of just being able to go and go and go and go and go. I don't know. It's interesting, but I'm never writing City off. Never, because they always
never. Me too. I'm never writing City off.
Always have a wobble at the start and then win the last 30.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do?
Can I respond to the super chat, Eddie? Numbers wise, Rafinha has 21 GA. Salah level with Yamal. Also, Barcelona have the best XG in Europe. At least do some research, mate. EPL fans always arrogant. Eddie, I'm literally right at the current moment, Eddie. I am actually looking at the stat in the domestic cups, international cups.
He needs a lot of flowers.
Yeah. Let me just respond to you, Ed. Let me respond to Eddie. Eddie, literally, I'm looking at it. GA, Salah has 18. Yamal has 15. Rafinha has 18. That's domestic cups, international cups, right? For your club and domestic leagues. I'm looking at it now. The games played, Lamine Yamal played 18, Salah played 16, and Rafinha played 15. I'm literally looking at FBref at the current moment on my right side. Yes, Salah has called 2 penalties, but literally, it's that. And also, the XG for Rafinha is higher, so he's expected to get more. But the reason why I'm saying that, because Salah has been amazing in terms of scoring and assisting as well this season. The creativity, right, from Salah. I'm not saying Rafinha and Yamal, maybe they are equal then, Eddie. But simple, Eddie, I'm literally looking at it at the current moment.
I would give the arguments, but it's not even worth it.
Listen, there is no. Let
me get the arguments.
People just think because I said Salah is the best player in the world, and now I am putting down Yamal and Rafinha. I'm not.
The thing is this: when people pull up numbers, like if you do anything with statistics, they'll tell you have to look at the same variables. I.e., for example, they're playing the same teams. One plays in Spain, one plays in the UK. You can't use numbers just to do quick comparisons because actually, unless they're playing the same opposition and you've got the same variables, those stats mean nothing. For example, someone just said Aspas scored 30 goals in La Liga, but he didn't score that in the Premier League. Like, it's hard to do those comparisons.
But it goes otherwise as well. It goes the other round as well.
That's why I don't like to use XG and so on and so forth and GA, because there's just too many variables that you can use to show why those numbers can be looked a certain way. But anyways, that's just me.
Yeah, Tony, hi Mo, support for Martin, legend, top shot. Martin needs the support. I think every City fan I was going to send you guys something in the group chat yesterday, but I didn't. The City group chat. But listen, City, like yesterday, showed a lot of cracks in the team. I'm not sure. I know like the Liverpool people watched the Liverpool. I know that Timmy watched, of course, City game because of Amorim, 100%. Lots of cracks. This City defense is getting exposed. Yes, they scored a goal, but again, they conceded 4 penalties or not penalties. It could have been 5 as well because they actually had other chances as well. So, Martin, talk to me. Is it end of the world?
No, could have been 5 out of the way. Because the one thing I'm being talked about is City dominated that first half. City should have been 4 or 5 up in that first half. This is the annoying thing about it. We were actually playing some of our nice football again for that first 40 minutes. You know, yeah, we give away a couple of chances, but as I tell everyone, this is not a computer game. You are going to concede chances in football games. It's that's where your goalie and your defence come into play. Second half, I don't know what happened. I've got nothing on the second half except collapse. I mean, total collapse. 20 seconds in, the game's gone. You can do nothing 20 seconds in, the game is gone. Then the silly penalty from Josko, I don't know what he's doing. And then to top it off, Haaland misses his penalty. I'm like, and it's little moments in games because Haaland gets that penalty, 3-2, different game again. You don't know how Sporting are going to react back to that. But then they go on and get the others. So it just started collapsing as you're going around. And it's one of them moments where when it's against you, it's against you. There's nothing you can do. But the simple fact is what we've got to do now is go and get... We need to go back to basics. I know exactly what we need to do. We need to stop these fullbacks going flying forward because it's not helping. We need to change the midfield round. We need to go back to the way we were in the treble season where we literally just go boring solid. You play a back four whose job is quite simple, defend. You play a midfield, you play a 6 whose role is 6. Your midfield, your 10. Listen, if Pep wins the league from here, for me, his greatest ever achievement, no Rodri, no KDB, half his defence disappeared. It's his greatest ever achievement for me.
Martin, if Pep does that, they'll start calling him Mourinho V2, so be careful because you've already seen how if you choose to defend and build a solid team,
I don't care. I don't care. Then it says it's your fan base. No, your fan base gets bought hurt about your style of play. We don't.
I don't care. I'm just it's more of a shot at Mo because what he said earlier on. I'm just saying it's funny how
we get the digs about style of play. I'm not asked on it. I'm one of them results over performances. Not every day of the week.
Me too. I don't care. Win any game 1-0, not bothered.
Exactly. One thing I would say for Man City is this: that I like just watching your team, and I know, look, it's difficult when you take out the best midfielder in the world and arguably been the best midfielder for the past 5 or 6 years, right? And you take him out through injury, and it's not just a short-term injury. It's not something he's going to come back from in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time. This is long-term. This is a year of him not playing football. I think what you're seeing is possibly that there was so much emphasis, and I know we always said it, right? Everyone always said, if you take out Rodri, Man City are vulnerable. I think we're seeing there's a lot of emphasis in Rodri anchoring that midfield that your team has become a little bit easier to get through because this is again my point of view.
It was happening last season.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's easier, but it is easier now. The thing is that it's not that it's easy, it's easier now, right? And also when you think about the fact that you bring in, and I think this is an indictment on, and it's not often we get to say this, but this is an indictment on the team that does the transfers in Man City. When you're bringing in Gundogan back, right? And I get the feel-good factor.
They didn't test his legs, bro. They didn't test his legs before.
Do you know what? We had the discussion. I said a year in La Liga is very different. Like players who go away and come back to it takes time to get back up to speed to the Premier League. So even if you're playing football, do you remember Paul Scholes? Paul Scholes retired for 6 months, came back. He was unable to get back to speed. It took him another 6 months to get back to speed to be able to play in the Premier League. The fact that was the only defensive cover they brought in, and also I think another player who we don't talk a lot about, but made a difference in being able to put him in midfield last year, Alvarez, not being able to have that sort of utility player as well, where you can plug him in midfield, you can plug him up front. I think that's
selling him was a big mistake for me. He
didn't want to
it was not an option. It wasn't an option, guys. It wasn't an option for City.
He asked to leave.
No, he said, "I'm leaving."
Play in midfield.
You know, the problem is they didn't buy an
He didn't want to play midfield.
Exactly.
He wanted to be able to try. So everyone needs to stop this. Buy this world class backup. Do you know why? Because they get pissed off and asked to leave. That's what
fair.
happens when you have a top backup to a top
But
guy.
I'm gonna say something. The problem until now, Calvin Phillips, Matthias Nunes,
Yeah.
Kovacic, who else did you want? Gundogan. At the current moment, Man City have tried 4 times to get a player that can play both roles, the 8 and the 6, when Rodri's out. Now Rodri's out, we're seeing it in front of our eyes. They bought wrong. The scouting was wrong in that they bought the players. They might be good in other positions, like a winger or behind the forward or something, but none of them can replace Rodri. Kovacic, as good as everyone praised him in the beginning of the season, the defense is exposed because he plays the 6. He's never,
Well,
he was never a 6.
No, he doesn't. He actually looks what he does. He plays the 6 and moves into the 8 role.
Because he was never a 6.
Not
He was
disciplined
never a
enough to
6.
stay as the 6.
He was never that guy, ever.
Do
in
you
his
know
career.
what you need to do, Mo? It's quite a simple fix, but a lot of City fans won't have it. You need to go back to Aki at left back. Yeah. I'm not going to listen to someone 5 points behind me. But you need to go with Aki at left back. You need to go, once you get it, Diaz, Stones, and then Walker. Straight back line, do not move. You're defending. Walker, don't move.
What about the midfield, though?
Midfield, Gundo, Foden or KDB alongside Bernardo.
See, I would have said put John Stones in
What I did-
midfield. I would have said put John Stones in midfield.
No, this
together
is
with
the
Lucy.
problem. No, this is the problem. Because we're doing this experimentation. I don't want to see Joshua Gavardio and Ruben Diaz on my halfway line trying to take wing backs on. It's not your job, mate. Right now, that isn't good enough. Right now, that
he's
is
your
not
top goal
helping.
scorer. At the moment, he's your top
We are
goal scorer.
exposed. So you go 2 direct wingers, Haaland. Go back to basics till we get our players back fit again.
But you're not
Can't
gonna
get John
you're not
Stones fit. Can't
You're
get
not getting Rodri back. You're not getting Rodri back for a year. So, like,
It's
what
not
do you do
just
about that
Rodri.
defensive
It's not just
midfield?
Rodri.
I know, but
I'm not following this.
But we've
I
all
think-
seen. Wait. We've all seen that the defensive midfielder, the anchor, the best player in the world who's been voted, is out for a year. You cannot just ignore that. You can't just say we're just going to plug it with Gundogan, whose legs are not suited for this league.
Sorry, who was the number 6 when Rodri was injured in the treble-winning season? Gundo.
I don't.
Gundo.
Yes, but again, that was
So
2
where's
years
Gundo
ago.
been playing this season.
2 years ago.
This season, you watch City for 5 minutes.
I don't care, but I'm saying it's 2 years ago.
You
This
have
is
to
2 years ago.
care.
His
I
legs
watch
are
him
gone.
week in, week out. You're going to tell me what you see on a Match of the Day clip. See, best knowledge you spoke for 5 minutes.
You're muted. You muted yourself, Olo.
Sorry.
Muted yourself.
Is-
Well, you blew
Is
your microphone up.
Gundogan the same player he was 2 years ago?
No, he wasn't. And everybody knows that.
What role's Gundogan been playing, Seth?
It doesn't matter the role. I'm asking a question because you're answering a question with a question. Is
Okay.
Gundogan, because I asked you who was going to replace. Okay, I asked you who's going to replace Rodri. You said Gundogan. Then I've asked you, is Gundogan the same player as he was 2 years ago? Because you said the way he played 2 years ago when Rodri was injured, he was able to cover that. So I'm asking, do you feel Gundogan can play a defensive midfield role in the same way Rodri does this year? Okay, fair.
Yeah. But simple
All
fact
right,
is because 2 things. Game's in front of him. The game's totally in front of him. When he's playing the 8, half the game's behind him. So he's stuck. He's like, he can't turn anymore. When you're in the 8 role at City, you've got to be nimble, ready to turn on a sixpence like that. Can't do it anymore. Because the minute he tries to do it, there's a player on him instantly. Because he has slowed. So you put him as the 6 and you go, right, that's it. Don't move. That's your job. Spray it around. But you've got to put the right people into the midfield with him. We are not going to go out and spend 70, 80 million on a backup CDM that drops to the bench when Rodri comes back. We're not going to do that.
Well, you did it with Rodri and Fernandinho.
No, Rodri was Fernandinho's backup. Was
Exactly.
was-
So you did.
Can I just say something?
You did it.
Rodri played
Fernandinho
every
played
game
4.
until the last game of the season.
Rodri's 27.
Yeah, but
Fernandinho was 34.
You've lost him for a year, and it's going to take him back. It's going to take time for him to get back up to speed. Like, this is an ACL injury. This isn't a minor hamstring pull or tear.
Not saying he is. He will be out for a year. Yeah. But
Can I ask you? Go ahead. Because I have a
what I'm
question.
saying
for you.
is, you can't just buy a backup and then in a year's time drop him back to the bench because
Yeah, but-
Rodri's going to come back.
But you don't have to buy a world-class backup. You have to buy a backup good enough. To
You can, you can buy a
field.
player that
You've
can play
tried
both
that.
roles. Declan
You've
Rice can play a
tried
6 and an 8.
That's
Yeah,
obvious,
you
that's
got.
obvious, that's
How much have you got
obvious,
to
it's
spend,
obvious,
Mo?
it's obvious
Over
that
100
Gundogan-
million.
In this,
that
in the,
player.
oh yeah. In this market,
trying
you
to
definitely
do
have
that,
to spend
wasn't he?
100 mil. Okay,
City
guys,
ain't doing that.
guys, in this market, to get a player that can play the 6 and 8, like a Caicedo or a Lavia or someone like this, it's 100+ million. And okay, we know that Bruno Guimaraes is 100 million. Rice was 100 million. Every single player you're gonna try to buy is 100 million. You
Exactly.
can't tell me that you don't have the money. You forked 70 million pounds for Matthias Nunes.
No, we didn't.
Isn't it 75 million pounds?
42.5.
Really?
Where
I
do you get
didn't know
your
that.
figures from?
Transfer market.
You get him
How
out of a
much-
Kinderhead
How much was Calvin Phillips?
for
He was
45,
50.
50.
He was 50, I think.
Maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't know, but you'll
Hey,
have to
but-
fork some
How
money.
much was Jesus? How much was Zinchenko?
35 mil, I believe. And
Yeah,
40
Matthias Nunes
Anyone
was
else you want from
60,
City?
65
Not really.
million euros.
I don't know
so
if they
about
are
like 55 million pounds.
when
Your
they're
t- your
work behind us.
Your team is breaking down, so we don't really.
Yeah,
shouldn't be taking
yeah.
those.
Do you know
Broken
I'm
down
a-
team is
can
still
I-
better than
can
your
I-
cat
can I ask
bottle at
something?
the team.
Big-
That's so
big-
shit. It can't win a raffle.
Oh.
5 points behind.
Martin,
Yeah, but
really
let me come in here,
Absolute.
guys.
I've never
hear me
seen an
out.
Arsenal fan have so much trust, but they were shit at weekend as well.
We're talking about yesterday. What's
We're gonna
what's the
talk
weekend
about
we're doing
Arsenal.
yesterday?
We're gonna talk about Arsenal. Big up since
Yeah,
Sky
'cause
and
Arsenal
Muller
are
comparison,
the
guys.
Can I just
Please, when I do the
just
super,
mention-
when I do the
Can't beat
when
us
I
like
do the super chat,
Liverpool.
please, guys. When I
These
do the super
Liverpool, I
chat,
was set bollocks.
let me talk when I do the super chats, please, guys. People that send their money. Big up since Sky and Muller comparison, we cannot trust Olo.
Okay, first of them is Olu, not Aloe, right? And secondly, you guys just haven't seen the vision yet. I'm just telling you right there, man.
Guys,
Can I-
over
have you
600
finished doing
people
the
here. Let's get the
super
likes.
chat,
I actually have a point I need to make. City now are giving hope to Arsenal. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans, and I want to ask this. Do you know what is going on? I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you how people are talking about it. Arsenal are crap.
Yeah.
What people are saying, because City are crap, we can catch up to Liverpool because City aren't running away with it. Does anybody see the logic here? What is people are, bro, this is
Football
not
maths.
me. This is
Football
not
maths.
me. This is not
Football
me.
maths.
This is the notion that is going around. Arsenal are not doing well, but City are saving them, and they aren't panicking because City are also losing games. So they're like, as long as we can catch up with City, we're all right. You know what? We're gonna be there because Liverpool will fall off. That is what's happening. I disagree with this notion because if Liverpool are 10 points behind Arsenal, Arsenal not catching Liverpool. Especially with
saying-
Arsenal being crap like this.
As an
Can I-
Arsenal fan,
can I
you
just-
play your own
can I
game.
just-
I want to, so
something?
the question here for everyone, does anybody, I'm going to start with Martin and then do you think this is going to continue? 3 games on the bounce, you lost.
I think it may get worse at Brighton, and then we'll see. I think we just need to get a point at Brighton best we can, and then come back from internationals. Hopefully, get the money. The biggest thing we need to do is sort Pep's future out. I think that is having an effect, and that has to be sorted out ASAP now. I think the club have to force it as well. We need to know now what Pep Guardiola is going to do, so we can move on. Get to internationals, get KDB properly fit again. Get Jack back, get Diaz back, get Stones back, get Doku back, and just see what we can do. But listen, if you think people think we can't win the title, write us off at your peril. Write us off at your peril.
I'm not.
Write us off at your peril. That's all I'm going to say.
What
Because,
did
by the
you
way,
think,
no one cares about that. No one cares about that. But all you've ever done for the last 24 hours is go, sitter.
Who has?
No one cares about us.
Who has? Sorry.
What?
No, so you said we said we have.
Sorry, I only want to talk to people in the title race, not someone who's in the top 4. Carry on.
Tell me that's rude, man. Look where he's talking to you.
Wait,
You have
top
that.
4 race. Top 4 race.
Tell me, don't take that, man. Look where he's talking to you. That's rude.
Top 4
Your
race.
manager smacked him 4-1. Your manager smacked him 4-1 as well. Don't
I'm
don't
just
have
if you
that.
won the Champions League. Oh, sorry. That's it. You're out.
Good one.
You're really upset about yesterday's game.
I know, right? It's funny. It's
No,
funny.
do you know what it is?
They're
I'm
trying to talk about my
losing.
manager,
that played
man.
worse than me. Tell
They
me
lose.
about
See?
my team.
See, this is the problem, right? This is the problem.
This
Like,
is what annoys me. I'll
Mo,
take it
Mo.
from anyone else. I'm not saying it from Arsenal fans who have been utterly
So they can't
shit
talk about Man
for the last
City.
month.
do you know what? So, like, Mo, this is the funny thing. They will
We
talk
can't
about
talk
Arsenal.
about Arsenal because they get
Yes, you
triggered.
can.
We will talk about Arsenal. And
No.
They get triggered.
Mo, please just tell Martin. Do I care about if you have a bad opinion about Arsenal? No, I don't care. It doesn't mean nothing to me. I'm not the one getting paid, right? We're here on the panel. And I'm allowed to have an
You're not
opinion
getting
about Man
paid.
City.
Don't pay me.
Oh, that's good. But anyways, I'm allowed. Listen, I've got an opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion on Man City. Same way you have an opinion on Arsenal. Same way you have an opinion on Man United and Liverpool. That's what we're here for. So that's why I'm just laughing, because all the thing about being 5 points behind, blah blah, doesn't mean nothing to me really. It's it's football. And
What?
But
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything in your personal life, and you muted yourself again or something.
What I did want to say, though, it was really interesting listening to the Arsenal and the Manchester City fans talk about their team kind of falling off recently. And they have a common denominator, and it's both losing their best guy in midfield. Arsenal have gone a bit crap because of Odegaard, and Man City are having a bit of a wobble because of Rodri. How does it feel?
Can I?
How
I'm
does
sorry,
it feel?
Craig, let me just say something, please. Craig, listen, I appreciate you as a member and a thing, but if you're going to insult one of the panels, please, I'm going to just time you out. If we're going to talk, guys, this is a YouTube show. I don't know why people take it so serious in terms of like, guys, we text after the show, guys. We trigger. It's a YouTube show. We argue with each other. We text after the show. So, Craig, with all due respect, that was absolutely out of line, and you're getting time out. With all due respect. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron, for doing this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this. Go ahead, man. I don't know why people are so triggered when just someone says something that they don't like.
It's crazy. Yeah, so how does it feel having injuries? Like as a Liverpool fan, I just get to live with it now. You know, players are out.
Yeah.
We just keep on going, keep on challenging, keep on competing. So how does it feel? A little bit of adversity. How does it feel?
Injuries happen. You know, Arsenal had injuries, City had injuries, you've had injuries. Injuries are part of the game. You'll go out. I've never once mentioned proper. I'm not going to use injuries as an excuse. It happens. We've got loads. We get on with it. We move. We have played crap in the second half. We were awful yesterday in the second half. But what happens is we get this narrative where we go, we don't look at the game in a context anymore. Sorry, in a 95-minute version. We look at it in little breakdowns. So because we played bad for 43 minutes yesterday, right, City a crap all game. And that wasn't the narrative. That isn't what happened.
Yeah.
We went out in the second half. I don't know what he gave him at half time. I don't know if he gave him bloody vinegar in the orange. I don't know what he bloody did. Pep. He must have bollocked him about something. I don't know what he's done. But what doesn't help is, simple fact is, we need to sort people's heads out. We need to sort people's contracts out. It's all right giving Foden and Rodri and Haaland contracts extensions. We need to sort KDB out. We need to sort Pep out. Because here's the problem. You want to do an extension for you want to look at new deals for Musiala or Verts or Jim down the road. You can't until KDB's made that decision. Yeah. So KDB sat there going, I don't know whether I'm going to stay or whether I'll go to Saudi or whether I'll go to the USA. Brilliant. The problem is you've got is until he tells City can't move because he's on 400 bags a week. They're not going to commit into another huge deal while he's sat on 400 grand per week. This is the problem.
There are other problems, but I wanted to ask, is it a failure for Manchester City if Liverpool win the league with a manager that just arrived?
Yeah, I would say so for them. Yeah.
Go ahead, Timmy.
So losing to a rookie manager, I think City's board would consider that a failure for sure.
Context, injuries, and all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
No?
obviously but there's context on Liverpool's side too. Obviously, they didn't make a lot of signings. I think City, they hold themselves to relatively high standard now, so I think they would view it as a failure. I mean, they're not going to fire Pep or anything like that if it doesn't happen, but it would be.
Nobody's fighting Pep Guardiola.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I'm obviously like.
I think some in our fan base would like to.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be a failure for them. It would be a failure for them because at the end of the day, they did things. Liverpool, again, I'll go back to the degree of difficulty. If Slot wins the league in his first season, the degree of difficulty to do that is on another level. The only person to do that's Mourinho, right? Am I wrong about that? He's the only one. Conte did it too. Conte did it too. Yep. So yeah, that would be
and Ancelotti did it.
You're making it worse because you're making the list go along.
Did Hiddink do it?
Yeah, they're just Chelsea, aren't they?
No, Hiddink did people. It's the Europa League.
He's like looking for one name.
Mourinho, Ancelotti.
Oh, what's the man? Pellegrini.
Who else?
Did Pellegrini win in his first?
I have one for you guys that you guys will be absolutely surprised. Claudio Ranieri did it.
Yeah, at Leicester.
That wasn't his first season in the Premier League.
It was. He actually. He managed Chelsea, but
his first season at Leicester.
Yeah, but he managed the Premier League. He managed in the Premier League before that.
It was his second season, but he took over Leicester midway through the. No, he didn't. It was his season actually, because
I've got one you've not even thought of.
I said Pellegrini.
Oh, did he say it? Right, there you go, Pellegrini.
I said Pellegrini did it as well.
Thank you.
So it's, however,
I know my
so
history.
we've named how many now?
You know what?
Quite a few then.
Against Man City and Pep Guardiola, that is the achievement. And Arteta, because Arteta's been here 5 years, Pep has been here 6, 7, 8 years now. For Arne Slot, who coached at Feyenoord, and remember, Mourinho was coming from a Champions League winning Porto team. Mourinho was an established coach at that time. This guy's coming from Feyenoord. He's young. He doesn't have a lot of experience. And to go to Liverpool with the egos that they have and perform like, well, I know you're doing that, Ola, because you have never seen this in your life, but that's the thing. It's like when he goes to that much egos and then perform like this, I think it's an achievement that people need to understand. Pellegrini as well, yeah, when he coached, I don't know who was the competition at that time. Oh, yeah, it was Mourinho's Chelsea. And no. Pellegrini was Mourinho's Chelsea. And it was Liverpool's Brendan Rodgers. That is the season that Man City won the league. The slip. It's the slip.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right.
That was the slip season, Gerrard season. So, yeah, I get what people are saying. But if Arne Slot win that, there is no excuses for Pep Guardiola. Of course, we have no excuses to Arteta, which is we're going to come to Arteta. Don't give me injuries and that. For City, if you're looking at them, if they lose to Brighton, I think it's a crisis today, City. If they lose to Brighton, I think it's a much bigger crisis.
I like that.
And I was going to say,
can I also touch on that? And the thing about that as well is when other teams won the league, the managers that we're talking about, other teams were in transition. Like they were changing managers. Like even when Leicester won the league, there was loads of transition in the managers and the clubs. So they had kind of a free run because they had a load of games won. With Slot, you've got Arteta, who's done, 6 years at Arsenal? Then you've got Pep, who's done 8 years at Manchester City. Like, there's no transition. Like, they are full pelt. Like, they've been going for a long time. And to come in and overtake those two, I think that's an even bigger achievement by anybody.
Yeah. And going back to your question, I think it will be a failure for Man City. It will be a failure for Arsenal. The reason being that at the start of the season, I'm sure the board will say, objective number one, win the league. If you don't win the league, that's a failure. Now, the degree of how they interpret that failure is going to be obviously different because there's mitigating circumstances. But at the start of the season, those three teams, objective number one on the board will be win the league. If they don't do that, they will see that as a failure. And as Temi said, no one's going to get fired because of it. Maybe Arteta might, right? But obviously, with Pep and Man City, you've got the best manager in the world. I believe the best manager to have lived. Some people say others. Some might say Cruyff. Some might say Ferguson, etc., etc. I believe he's the best. No one is going to be stupid enough to fire Pep unless he does something egregious. So, but I still think they will look at it as a failure because they didn't reach the objective they've set at the start of the season.
No,
Sorry, 5 years. 5 years, Arteta. The
I was going to say
chat
you keep adding years to Arteta, and I was going to
Sorry,
call you
the
for
chat has told me
behavior.
5,
Do you know why it's not a failure for me? And I know everyone goes, because this is the biggest time I have with people in my own fan bases, is I've just won 4 in a row. If we don't win 5 in a row, that becomes a failure.
No,
Jesus,
I
other people's expectations.
I think you're looking at it from the
No,
wrong angle.
but I am, Mo, because I've just won 4 in a row. Of course, I'm looking at it in a very different light.
Would you want to win 5?
No one's won 4.
No, would you want to win 5?
I'm not bothered.
No, would you? No, that's not. Would you want to win 5? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course I will, but it doesn't make it
So,
a failure.
and if you-
No, failure
This
is
is
a
the
massive
last minute because I need to move to Arsenal and Inter.
failure is a
and
massive
Arsenal.
thing. Because at the end of the day, you know, I saw everything I needed to see 2 years ago. When I bagged the treble. Football was made for me. I'm just flying on. I'm flying on everything else at the moment. I'm flying on fumes. I'm enjoying it. I'm set for the next 20 years on my football. Good.
I think
Thanks very much.
I think the word failure is what you're stuck on. I think it's not failure in the sense of the team is a failure. It's just that you failed to achieve the objective, which is to win the league. So,
and to Olu's point, I think it'd be a failure for Arsenal too because it would be a failure for Arsenal because they've had a 5-year, a 5-year run at this. I mean, obviously they've been competitive, really competitive the last 2 seasons, but it'd be a failure for them too for Slot, especially Arteta, for Slot to walk into the league and win it with how much money did Chiesa cost? Mac? How much money was it? Or
10 mil?
12 million.
12. So 12 million spent and win the league would be insane considering how much City have spent, how much Arsenal have spent. It would be. It's not a failure as the team is in disarray. You know what I mean? But when United went on that run in the early 2000s where we didn't win a league for a few years, I'm sure every season was viewed as a failure. Even though we won 3 on the trot, right? So yeah, it's an individual thing. It's not like the club is failing. It's that I think City not winning the league would be viewed as a failure by them. I think that internally, I think they viewed it as a failure.
Khalid here is saying, can we stop having Trent Alexander-Arnold taking free kicks?
Is it bad now?
I don't know.
No,
It's not that bad, though.
The free kick he took last night, it deflected off the guy's head. It was going in the top corner.
Khalid, you're panicking for no reason. You're top of the league, top of the Champions League. Your team is very good.
For England. He scored one recently, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it's not that bad, Khalid, to be honest.
Listen,
you could have Bruno. You could have Bruno taking all your free kicks. That's.
Oh my God! Let's talk about Arsenal then. Play Inter today.
Didn't Inter draw with Man City?
Yeah.
2-0 Inter. 2-0
That's a very tough game.
To be honest, the thing about it is that we are resting the best 5 players because we have Napoli in the weekend. But I wouldn't take that as an excuse for us because we're playing at home.
He's already getting it out. Here he goes with his Arsenal agendas.
Our coach, I've had people text me and say, Mo, your coach is not taking Arsenal serious. Of course he's not. It's a game in the Champions League.
Who are you supporting tonight? Genuine question, are you supporting tonight?
Arsenal.
Is it going to be hard? Are you going to do a half and a half shirt? Half Arsenal, half Inter?
Arsenal, of course.
Oh. Until Arsenal score, and then you'll celebrate them.
And then also, I'm supporting Arsenal, of course. I don't think you've been watching the shows. I don't think you've been watching the shows lately. And guys, before we go to Arsenal, guys, we can get to 300 likes. Less than 12 likes away from 300. It's over 600 people here. So hit that like button, people. But listen, and about Arsenal today, how important is the game today first? Can someone... Is it that important for them? How is it that important?
Because you need to get points on the board because it's the Champions League format. We're top of the league. You've got to get
The
close.
new format doesn't require Arsenal to win all the games or Inter, Man City.
No, there's an Arsenal got fit.
But you definitely don't want to be in the playoff if you don't have to.
Have you got an easy draw like Man City and Aston Villa? Then?
So we've got the next game is after them is going to be Sporting, and it gets easier after that. So, like in theory, Arsenal. I mean, you want the points on board and not have to play like different kinds of maths, but in theory, Arsenal could still make it through, even if they struggle to beat Inter Milan. And obviously, we saw what happened with City at Sporting, so nothing's guaranteed when you go to Portugal. But of course, Amorim's going to be at United, so maybe it's a different Sporting team then.
I'm not going to lie as well. I actually think Inter Milan's manager is going to replace Pep in the future.
What?
Inter Milan's manager. I think he'll replace Pep in the future.
It's not though. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
And Mo, listen, yeah, this dropping 5
Inzaghi.
players. I understand why he dropped 5 players. Basically, he wants to have an excuse when we rock up to the San Siro, we spank another 5 goals past you, and
Broski,
we walk away.
your team is dog shit at the current moment.
We are coming to take you. We're coming back to San Siro to our second home again to come and spank you 5-1.
Oh
Just
my
remember
god,
that.
bro.
Just remember that.
The problem is,
And then the last, how come no one likes Arsenal fans?
bro, the
Didn't
way
Sporting-
Arsenal fans
Didn't
talk.
Sporting beat you as well? Didn't Sporting knock you out as well? Amorim do you as well?
When
You know
the
what the problem
arrogant-
is?
when the arrogant-
Genuinely.
Why
Okay,
talk
hold
about
on,
history?
guys.
What are you talking
Guys,
about
guys.
history for?
Can we
Don't bring up
be
history.
forget the banter? The banter is later or for the watch along when I do the watch along.
I'm trying to get it in now because we've got to go soon.
I'm washing my
No.
hair. Need to have my balls spit out. Sorry.
The thing about today's game and the Chelsea game is that I think today's game doesn't define Arsenal season. However, it can give them a push. Arsenal going to Chelsea to Stamford Bridge. If they lose this game, their league season might be over.
I agree.
Completely over.
I agree.
And I think it's a disaster if
Yeah.
that is the case. To game week 11, and don't tell me if City lose to Brighton, you lose to Chelsea. Chelsea are ahead of you.
That's a good. So
That is
I think
Anyone having a good season? Everyone's in crisis, disasters, failures. Jesus Christ.
there are teams that are having a very good season. There are teams that are having a good season. Liverpool having a good season.
Nottingham Forest.
Spurs are having a good season. Forest are. I don't think Chelsea are having a bad.
Nottingham Forest are.
Chelsea
what
are
I
not
mean.
having a bad season.
If there's a Forest fan in the chat, let Mo know. He'll get you on soon.
It's only, to be honest with you, even City are not having a bad season. People think City are having a bad season. City are 2 points behind Liverpool. That's not a bad season.
I've got to go, guys. All right.
So sorry.
See you, Matt.
So
Okay, man, all
the
right,
thing I
great
was-
show. Catch up with you
the
soon.
thing about
man.
this-
All right.
See you.
The thing about the City thing is not because they're just 2 points. It's the trajectory they've been going from the start of the season when everyone said how well they were playing to now. So if you were to put on a graph, City started off like that high and it's been steadily coming downwards in terms of performances. Arsenal have just been flat and got worse, whereas obviously Liverpool have been on the top. So yeah, I think in terms of seasons, I think most City fans would say right now they're not having a great season, not in comparison to how they felt at the start of the season.
Who
And
here
for
thinks that
Arsenal fans,
Arsenal
I
will
mean,
recover from this?
I do.
Kimmy, I'm gonna ask you first.
In a recover to do what? You need to put context.
Okay, there is only one. Okay, there is only
Right,
one
okay.
target for ours. Can I get Timmy? Let me get Timmy to answer your question. There's only one. Like you can only recover if you go toe to toe with
So-
City
so
and
to win the
Liverpool in
league.
at the end.
No, they can't recover to win the league. No.
I disagree.
Timmy.
And the reason why I disagree. Sorry,
Can I get
Timmy,
Timmy's point, please?
and I'll tell you.
Yeah. I don't think they can recover. No, I don't.
Even with how City are doing now.
Yeah, no, I think City will go on a run. They always do. That's the thing. Is like I don't think Arsenal are capable. And listen, I just don't see them being capable of putting together 8 to 10 wins on the trot. I just don't see it with this team personally.
And that's where I'm gonna hold you because last season Arsenal
I know you were going to bring up
went
last.
on
season. I know
two
you
went
were
on
gonna
two
respond.
runs. Even the season before that, we went on runs. So
I
it's
know.
in this team to go on runs. And I think that like it I'll go back to last season. And I hate using last season, this season as a comparison because it's 2 different seasons, 2 different situations, right? But we saw the flip between that infamous Dubai trip how Arsenal played before that, where everyone was saying it was horrific. Everyone said, what happened in Dubai? And we should be going Dubai trips all the time, right? Performances can switch in a game, right? This Chelsea game could be a catalyst for Arsenal going on a 7, 8, 9 game, 10 game run. It's too early in the season for me to make any decisions on that. I would say if we get to January and Arsenal are playing this bad and we're still about 8, 9 points away from the top of the league, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we're projecting though. I'm projecting that they won't. That's the. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, you can say I hear it's too early, but I'm just from what I am seeing. Right. Obviously, things can change, and I'll if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll come back on most channel and say I was wrong.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, no, I just from what I'm seeing, the one, I think the transfer window for you guys was really, really bad, and I don't think you guys strengthened in the way you should have to really compete with City. Because if you wanted to truly compete with City, you guys needed to make some true marquee signings. Because I feel like City still have more top level players than you. I still think they have more top level players. They added Savinho, you feel me? So even with the injuries, I still think they look like a better outfit. Even though they obviously they've lost 3 on the trot, it's not looking great. But I think over the course of the season, they have the better manager, and I think they still have better players than you. Then that's where I just can't see you guys. And you guys it feels stale. Like it feels very like Arsenal feel very stale in the fact that like they didn't make any like marquee signings. And I'm not saying you need to sign £100 million players, but you do need to add players that like bring a new energy to the squad. And I don't think the players you bought have actually done that.
But to your point about Liverpool earlier on, who've bought no one and they've had an uptick in performance, you can still get something out of this team because we've seen this team has gone on similar runs and has played and scored a hell of a lot of goals, right? Last season, most goals that Arsenal scored ever in the Premier League, right? So it's in this team. What now the job for Arteta as the guy who's getting paid the money is to get that out of them. That is it. But I think it's the same thing you said about Liverpool. You could say the same about Arsenal, right? It's down to the manager, less so the players.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% right about I'm just predicting. I think the manager out of the 3 managers that I'm looking at that are in title contention, I think Arsenal have the worst one. I just think they do. Like again,
based on what you say that Arteta's worse than Arne Slot is crazy to me, to be honest. It's a crazy statement because of 10 games. Yeah,
it's really triggered you. That
is it crazy? I don't think.
But I'm telling you, it's not triggered me. It's just I think it's okay. Would you have said the same about Spurs after 10 games that Ange Postecoglou is better than Arteta, for example?
No.
Would you have said the same? Why?
I don't. I'm not Ange's hugest fan in the world. I think he's a good manager. I don't think he had, for me, my biggest issue with Ange is he's never had a plan B, right? He's never been able to, make adjustments in terms of his style of play when he needs to make adjustments. I think Ange is a good manager, but again, I wouldn't view him as I don't think he has talented players. I just don't think he's of the level of a Slot. I just don't. I think what Slot's doing is very underrated right now. I think it's very, very. I don't like saying that. Listen, I'm a United fan. I don't want to say this. Like I don't want to say this whatsoever. I just think that what Slot has done in a very short amount of time is not.
It's remarkable. I would argue that what Ange did last season is remarkable as well in the first 10 games. Turn a team around after Antonio Conte and Ryan Mason the season before and win like 7, 8 games and be that good. It's the same achievement.
Where did Spurs finish again last season?
But hold on. But I'm talking about in the first 10 games. I'm not saying that Liverpool will be Spurs, but the reaction thing is that Spurs were the top of the league 10 games in. You're top of the league, 26 points.
It's less about Slot and more about Arteta. I think that's what you're missing.
Okay. That's what I'm missing then.
It's a lot more about Arteta. Listen, I've given a lot of praise to. I want to let you I've given tons of praise to Arteta and streams I've done, but the more I assess it, it's like the more it's problematic to me because they spent a lot of money under this manager, and it doesn't seem like there's certain points where it's like has a manager like peaked, right? Have they done what has this manager done what he can do for this club? And it feels like it's getting to that point for Arteta, like. can he break through? Is he good enough to beat a Pep? Is he good enough to be? And listen, Slot has to prove that too. Obviously, he has to prove that too. But he just doesn't have the fact that he's competing right now. I know they still have top players. The fact that he's competing to me is unreal. They losing Klopp should have affected them way more than it has. Let's be honest. It should have affected them way more than it has, and it hasn't. It just hasn't. Like Arteta, if Arteta was winning, listen. Ten Hag, he should have left. But even Eric Ten Hag was able to nick a trophy here, nick a trophy there. Like Arteta hasn't been able to do that. He hasn't been able to do that. Like at least you have some signs, something.
Just one and a couple of Emirates Cups, but you know, I'm shameless.
I need to do the super chat because I need to get out of here. Mo Kaldab, it's Kadab, haha. Kaldab, I don't know what that means. Soraida. Kaldab, is that Kadab is different. Without the L means I'm a liar. But yes, thank you, Soraida. Appreciate you. We'll see you tonight. On the watch line, big up, guys. Listen, guys.
Before we go, what is your prediction for tonight? Come on,
2-1 now.
To who?
To Inter, yes.
To Inter.
Yes.
Okay.
2-0 Inter.
I'm gonna go for a score draw.
It can be with the players we are resting, yes, but I'm still expecting us to win. I wouldn't be mad if we get a draw. I don't think this game matters to me. I don't think it matters to Arsenal at all.
If we beat you,
it's an embarrassing result for us. Absolutely, but
just like the 5-1. And let's not talk about history, guys.
5-1.
Mo, that's all I've got.
Do you know why? Do you know why you talk about the 5-1 or not?
That's all I've got. That's all I've got.
Exactly. That's your Champions League trophy, winning against bigger teams away from home.
It doesn't matter.
Listen, people. Let's get to 350 guys, hit that like button before you go. I want to appreciate everyone that joined. Martin, of course, Simon Kunyanui. Temi's here, of course, for the second time. Big up Temi for joining. Hopefully next time Man United will be a top half of the table team and we can talk about them even more. You get an Amorim soon and your fan base convinced that they can get top 4.
Is here. You can't make me feel bad right now.
I did love the shamelessness last night that United fans were claiming victory.
Yeah, oh my God, they're doing shows yesterday claiming the victory against City.
I'm like, doing?
All I can think of yesterday, Martin, is that I tweet, this guy is leaving a team where he smacked City 4-1, he played in the Champions League, he's top of the league, to go to a team that is 15th in the league, not in the Champions League, with worse players. And I'm like, it's a massive,
they don't have better players. They don't have better players.
Fantastic choice. My friend, if I'm like friends with Amorim, I'm like, you made the right choice.
Please stop.
Instead of waiting for Manchester City, you made the right choice to go to Manchester United.
Stop it.
Which is a 50-50. Your career might go upwards, but looking at the last 12 years, your career might be destroyed.
He's a smart man. He backs himself. If he becomes successful at Manchester United, he will be goated forever.
Can you define successful?
I could define.
Sorry, people. Man United are 13th. Oh, I made a mistake.
Good
for you. Man United fans are fighting for 3 spots between 16th and 13th.
To answer your question, success is winning the Premier League and winning the Champions. That is success.
Not. So City will have gone 3-4 managers by the time that's happening again.
No. Success for you is right now finishing the season with positive goal difference. Let's start with baby steps first.
You need to win a league. You need to win a league, buddy. What you need to win a league. Last time you guys won a league, I was in elementary school, bro.
Yeah, like, I'm in the mud and I'm the one who's still higher up.
And Arsenal. Listen, I've been quiet. This whole stream. An Arsenal fan can never talk to me about winning anything in my life.
I saw us win.
An Arsenal fan can never do that.
I saw us win. I was old enough. I was 12 when Arsenal won.
12.
That's
crazy.
Actually, no, what am I lying? 2002. No, I lied. I was 16. I'm lying. I was 16 when Arsenal won.
Bro, you're fraud. Jesus. You're 16 years old. You watched Arsenal win before Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying the last time. I'm talking about the last time Arsenal won the league, basically. But obviously before that.
Bro, it was 2004. You were not 16.
No, 2002.
Talk to
2002.
me. Talk to me. when
2004, you won the league.
2004. I was 18.
Oh, you
yes,
won the
of
league in
course.
2004.
2004. I was like, yeah,
18. I was
2002. I'm
18.
like,
What
wait.
is this guy talking about?
No, 2002. We won the league at Old Trafford. That's what I meant. Sorry, Timmy. I was just remembering.
All right. Listen, bigger people. I gotta go to the football terrace. Appreciate everyone that is here. Hit that like button, guys. Get us to 350 likes. Appreciate you guys. I will see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.